What is up, guys? Chris here, and today I'm going to talk to you about two new lenses that I just bought a few weeks ago, and I added to my setup. I actually did some modifications to my setup, so now I have two new lenses to work with, and how these lenses actually fit in my work, I'm going to tell you in the next 10 minutes. Okay guys, 2 weeks ago I decided to buy two new lenses. I decided that it's time to change something in my workflow, and I came up with two new lenses that I actually wanted to have for a long time. One of them, it's the Sony 7200G OSS lens. This is an f4 lens. I really like the form factor of this lens. I like the way that it's small and it's very light and it can be used and carry with ease. And this is the first one that I was thinking about having it. I actually had the lens 2 years ago when I previously started getting into Sony mirrorless, and I really like it. It's a great lens. We'll talk about it later. The other one, it's the 90mm f2.8 OSS macro lens that Sony came up with. I think it was 2014 or 2015, something like that. This lens is amazing. It's one of the sharpest lenses that I've ever used, and it actually fits in more than two genres of photography, which will be very helpful for me. So let's start with the beginning. Let's start with the 90mm. I'm actually took some notes because I'm not a very technical guy, and I will tell you a few words about it. I know that everybody loves technical stuff, so I said why not comply with that. So the full name of the lens is actually Sony FE f2.8 90mm macro G OSS. This lens has ED and super ED elements into it. It has a nano AR coating, has an optical stabilization, as I previously said, and it actually runs on a Sonic type AF motor with internal focusing, which means that the lens is not going to move when you're focusing back and forth. It's a weather resistant lens, which is very important, and it actually has an 1:1 magnification at about 11 inches or 28 centimeters. Or this is the technical stuff, which it is or it's not important to everyone. It tends to be not important to me. More important is how this lens actually performs in the real world. So I think that this lens it's an amazing lens for portrait. It's an amazing lens for macro. It's a great lens. It's a little bit heavy. It's built out of metal. It has a metal ring and actually has something that some of you might hate. It has a push-pull autofocus manual focus ring, and I think that it's a little bit too tight. I think that the play of this one is a little bit too small. It should be a little bit longer, but whatever. I didn't encounter any kind of problems with this ring, but some of you might if you're not used with this. It has a beautiful focus ring marked for every distance that you're focusing. It comes with the lock focus button on the side, and it's very helpful because you can customize this to do something else if you need to. It also comes with a very useful switch. It's the switch for different distances that you're focusing to, and it has an infinity, which is the full range of it. It has a 0.5 meters and a 0.28 meters, so 28 centimeters and 50 centimeters. So you can adjust based on what you're shooting and what you're focusing. It has another switch. It's the optical steady shot, the OSS switch, which can be played off or on. This is pretty much it with the lens. Like I said, it's a very well built. It's a great sharp lens. It actually very complex, as you can tell in the technical part. It has like 15 elements in 11 groups, so the lens is great. Another great thing is that the lens, it does not extend when you're trying to focus. See, now it's trying to acquire focus, and I did that especially for you guys to see that it doesn't extend at all. So you'll have this lens the way it is. It won't extend, it won't bother you, you know, getting into the subjects when you're trying to shoot macro or something like that. It also takes a 62 threaded filter inside of the lens, so you can also use the lens hood when you're using the filter, which is a pretty good thing. Other than that, I will probably do more digging with this lens and more shooting. The way I shoot lately and the pictures that I shoot with this one are amazing pictures. Is this sharper than the 85mm FE 1.8, the one that I previously reviewed? Yes, it is. It's way sharper than that. It's normal because it's a macro lens. I think it has more coding. It actually deals very well with chromatic aberrations and all that stuff. If I recall correctly, the DxO Mark give this lens a 39, which is an excellent score for a lens. So it's a great lens. Why would I use this lens and not a dedicated portrait lens for my work? Because it's not only the portraits that I'm shooting lately, I'm actually shooting a little bit of commercial, I'm actually shooting a little bit of macro commercial stuff, and this lens helps me a lot. It also helps me to make some space in my gear when I'm going for weddings and all that stuff, because I can easily shoot portraits with this one and I can easily shoot details, rings, dress and stuff like that. So this lens for me, it's an all-in-one beautiful lens that actually has a great price in my book. I think $900 for a all-in-one lens that you can use for a lot of stuff. The genres of photography that I don't think that this lens fits in, it's probably street photography, landscapes, and astrography, because this lens was actually built to shoot close subjects, not long distance subjects like landscapes and astrography and even street photography. I think it's very hard because the focus on this lens, it's not made for that. And if we got to that, let's talk a little bit about focus. The focus is not fast. It's not super fast. It won't compare ever with the 85 1.4, or I think it doesn't even compare with the 85 1.8. It's a little bit slower and it's normal. If you want to focus faster, you can just switch to manual focus and do it yourself. But if you're using the autofocus, it's a little bit slower, and it is like that because the lens was built like that. This is not a fast lens. This is not a sport lens. When you're shooting a macro subject, you're not rushing it. You take your time and manual focus most of the time. Even if you're autofocusing, you're not going fast. So the autofocus is not amazing. It's a good autofocus for portraits and macro and everything that this lens was built for, but not more than that. So now I should go forward and recommend this lens for genres of photography that you guys will be interested in. I think that for portrait photography, macro, and even a little bit longer portraits, I think it's a great lens. Now, the second one that I'm talking today, it's the Sony 70-200 G lens f4. This one is an old lens. It was being released in 2013, I believe. It's very light. It's very well built. It's full metal, except for the lens hood. But it's full metal. It's not heavy at all. I really like this lens. I enjoy it immensely because I actually wanted something with a lot of compression for my portraits, and I thought that this one will help me. I had this lens like 2 years ago, and I use it for weddings, a lot of weddings, and I really liked it, and the quality that comes out of this lens is great. Again, the technical part, I wish you will forgive me for just going on my iPad and read it to you, because like I said, I'm not a technical guy. Okay, so this lens is made out of 21 elements in 15 groups and adopts Super ED and ED glass. This is the top glass that Sony is using in their lenses. It also has a nano AR coating. It has a very innovative piezoelectric Sonic type AF motor that helps you focus very fast. Like I said, it was released in October 2013. It takes a 72 millimeters filter like most of the 70-200 lenses. It also has 9 aperture blades, which makes the bokeh pretty round. And another thing to mention is that the AF motor is a stepping motor. So this is the technical part. Like I said, I'm not interested in it. What I want to talk to you about is the quality that comes out of this lens. On the lens itself, the two rings, as you can see here, both of them are rubber covered rings, and the one is the zoom ring. It's the one closer to the mount, and the other one is the focus ring for manual focusing. It feels pretty sturdy. I love the build quality of this one. It also has 3 lock focus buttons. That's very, very helpful when you're shooting long distance subjects. And also you can customize this one just like on the 90mm for whatever you want. You can use this as an ISO controller or whatever you want. You can go into the menu and just customize this button. It has 3 switches here. The first one on top, it's the AF manual focus switch. This one everybody knows about it. The second switch is a focal length focus switch that helps you focusing faster if you have subjects at certain distances. You have a full phase and an infinity to 3 meters phase. The third switch and the fourth switch that actually work together. This is the optical steady shot on-off switch that you can turn it off or turn it on, and underneath it, it's a small one that actually provides 2 phases of optical stabilization. The phase 1, it's one for like, you know, slow moving subjects like street photography and stuff like that, and the second one, it's for running subjects or, you know, cars or bikes or stuff like that. So fast moving subjects, birds, or whatever you want to shoot that's moving fast. Well, this is the lens hood. It's made out of plastic. It's very sturdy though. It has a very small flex in it. It also has a rubber ring. It's very helpful if by mistake you're hitting your lens on something hard, like a hard surface or something. This one protects the lens hood and the lens itself. That's pretty much it, guys. Now, about the quality of this lens, I shoot a couple of sessions, portrait sessions with it. I also shoot a few long distance subjects, and I really enjoyed the lens. Like I said, it's not my first encounter with this lens. I had it like 2 years ago, and I really liked it. I liked it because the lens itself, it's very light comparing with the 70-200 f2.8. It's a good addition to any Sony shooter out there because you can easily carry this whenever you want and wherever you go. And I think that this is a great travel lens. If you're going to Iceland or, you know, beautiful places on Earth that like Yosemite Park or stuff that needs a little bit longer lenses to acquire the subject, this lens, it's great for shooting. And it has a little bit of vignetting at f4. It actually clears up at f5.6 and totally at f8. The chromatic aberration is very good. It's not perfect, but it's good, and it's controlled. It's very easy to fix it in Lightroom or you know, Photoshop or whatever software you're using for editing your pictures. Now for the recommendations, do I recommend this lens? Definitely. This is a 100% recommendations for every photographer. It doesn't matter what you're shooting, this lens should be in your kit. It's not very expensive. It's like I think 1400 right now on Amazon. I think you can find used ones for 800 to 1000. It depends on the condition, but I believe that this lens should be in your bag. It's not heavy, it's not big, it won't take a lot of space. Just get it because it's a great lens. In terms of sharpness, it's not the sharpest out there. I would actually love to compare this with the 70-200 f4 from Canon, the older lens, the one that everybody says that it's amazingly sharp. I never used that lens, so I would love to have this one. Maybe I'll get it and do a comparison for you guys. But this lens is great, and just get it and put it in your bag and have it with you all the time, because it's not, like I said, it's not heavy. It's easy to use and easy to carry. Now comparing these two lenses, for me, what I prefer the most, it's the 90mm. Why is that? It's because it's a little bit wider aperture and the sharpness is amazing on this lens. For my portraits, this is a go-to lens, but if I won't have this lens, I will definitely need this one. The compression is very good in this one, and actually the bokeh looks pretty nice. So these two lenses, I think, for a portrait photographer are definitely must-have. It's the lower version of whatever you can get with a lot of money from Sony. I will put this one in the same bag with the 85 1.4, and I will put this one in the same bag with probably the 70-200 2.8. That is a great lens, but it's a lot bigger than this, a lot bulkier, as well as the 85 1.4. Like I said, this one is built out of metal. It's a little bit heavier, but it balanced well with the A7R2 and the grip. As you can see, it's not going anywhere. It's balancing very well. It's actually balanced a little bit backwards with the grip. So I really like this lens. Now guys, as a conclusion, these two lenses are great lenses. Sony did a great job putting them together. The build quality is amazing. The glass inside is amazing. The quality that comes out of them, it's great. And I think both of them, they're must-have lenses for wedding, portrait, you know, macro photographer, landscape photographer. This one goes very nice on landscapes. I actually use it for a few of them, and I'll show a few samples at the end of this video. For me, these two lenses did a great job, better than the 55 1.8, the Zeiss lens, and the 85 1.8, the FE lens. That's pretty much for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching this. Thank you so much for being here. Hope this one was helpful. Hope this one helped you guys decide which one of these lenses do you want, or which one is for you, for your type of work. I hope that you guys will subscribe, like, and share this video. And if you really enjoyed it, please give him a thumbs up. Don't forget to follow me on social media at ZoomChris, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.